It's Carrie and Julie on again today. We are the founders of The Natural Shift, and we love to come with a quick topic because we know that your time is very valuable. But this is a super important question because it happens a lot. I actually have a really picky eater in my home, so it's something that is close to my heart. And so not that I have everything figured out, nor does Julie, of course, at all. But we want to offer you some suggestions, really quick things, easy things that you can do just to sort of guide them in the right direction. Being patient, all of that is really important when you're dealing with a picky eater. So probably about 15 minutes worth of tips. Stay around if you have this problem, or share this. Actually, if you know somebody, tag them in this video so they can go back and watch it to gain some really great insight on how they can deal with this very common situation. So just to give you a little background, so I have two children, 5 and 3, and my daughter was much less picky than my son is. He's the 3-year-old, and he's just in a really picky time. Most of the time, kids are most picky between, I would say, 2 and 4. Would you say that? 2 and 4, 2 and 5, something like that. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that he's going to come out of that in the next year. But, you know, I'm in it for the long haul, obviously, and I'm just going to do the best I can. So I'm going to give a few of my tips. We'll kind of just go back and forth. If you guys have any specific questions, please feel free to comment with those, and we'll answer those as we go. Or if you're watching the recording, we'd love to hear from you as well. So my first thing that I always tell people is if you don't want your kids to eat junk, or if you don't want to eat junk, don't buy it. That is my first tip. Do not buy it. It will get eaten most of the time if you buy it. They're going to want it more. They're going to know it's up there. They're not, you know, they're smart. They're going to know, I just saw you put that up there, so I'm going to just push all your buttons till I get it. That's how my son thinks for sure. He's just not going to stop. He's very persistent. So if I do not buy those things, it's just not an issue most of the time. So second tip is to cut out snacks, you know, about 1.5 to 2 hours long. This is really important because if they're not for the meal, then you're going to be more picky. I don't want it. You know, I don't want it. I don't want it. So it's important that they're actually. Thirdly, is whatever you give them for the meal. I'm more so want to talk about meals that you give them, because those are the times to make it the most nutrients and all of those things. So we're trying to really pack those with whole foods. Is there an echo?
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up a little bit. I'm not sure.
Okay. You know what? My kids are on spring break, and they're down there on the iPad because I have no one else to watch them. So why? And I really apologize for that. So we're just gonna hopefully when you speak it, like that. Okay, so whenever they sit down to the meal and then eat them, I always look for healthy things. So that would be like a full, not it's really important that you don't just offer something else when they won't eat what's on their plate. And then thirdly, try to provide education. It's important to foods. So why do we want to eat? You know, maybe link. My stomach hurts. That yesterday or today. And just try to get their mind thinking, I feel better. So those are my tips. I have some good ones.
Yes. Okay. Great tips. So a couple of my tips and things that I like to do with my kids, you know, I have twins. They're 11. They're almost 12. I have a boy and a girl. And I wouldn't say when they were younger, certainly I would say they were maybe a little bit pickier. Now, and I think truly this has come from just me kind of letting them taste and try new and different things. And a lot of it is them seeing me eating certain things and it looks good, it smells good, and they say, oh, I want to try that. Let me try that. And so they may not love it at first, but then, you know, they may try it again. And there's been several things that they've come around and started liking just from seeing me. So that's actually my number one tip. Set a good example. You can't expect your kids to want to eat healthy if you're not. You can't expect them to be making good choices if they're seeing you, you know, eating candy and drinking sodas and that kind of thing. And, you know, not to make anyone feel bad, but just start the shift, start it slowly, start cutting back. And as you do that, tell them, why you're trying to work on this, and kind of make it something that, you're encouraging them and empowering them to do the same, and that you guys can kind of work through that together. After school, as Carrie mentioned, a lot of times after school or in the early kind of afternoon, that's when, kids get pretty hungry in I guess I would say mid-afternoon. So when my kids get home from school, our rule is we don't have snacks until they eat. This is what I always say. Can't have a snack till you eat real food. Like, they know what real food means. That means get some leftovers out of the fridge from what we had for dinner last night. And they don't even question that anymore. I mean, when I first started doing that a few years ago, they're like, well, I mean, we just want some chips. And I'm like, well, sorry, maybe you can have a few chips. Not that my kids certainly get their share of, stuff that's not amazing for them. But my rule is you got to fill up on the good stuff first, and then you can have a little bit of the other not so good stuff. And like I said, they don't even question that anymore. So keep good, wholesome food in your fridge, whether it's leftovers, have fruits and things like that within arm's reach. I have a bowl of fruit, apples, bananas, oranges that sits on my counter so that is what they see. And often they'll grab for the banana or an orange, and without even being prompted to do that, because it's right there in their sight. Which, that's so true. If it's in your sight, you're more likely to grab it. And then, the say out of sight, out of mind. Carrie and I have talked about this before. When we were just talking about it on Easter, when we have things like Easter candy or, Valentine's or Halloween or whatever, sure, we let our kids have some then, on that day. But then when we get home, we both do the same thing. Like, I take all of it, and before I completely throw it away, because, I don't want any like super irate people in my house, I put it into like this other hall closet. And literally when they don't see it, they don't even ask for it. And then like a week later, when they've totally forgotten about it, I'll just throw it away. So, out of sight, out of mind. The other thing, and I know that this, in terms of like snacking and things, this works for me and for kids. If you put in your pantry things that are, on kind of eye level for yourself or for them, that are healthier, and don't put the stuff that you see immediately that's like, maybe cookies or things like that. Put those up a lot higher, where number one, they can't reach them and they have to ask you for them. And then number two, if you've got a problem with that, you're not seeing it every time you go in your pantry.
That's right. And what I just thought about, I'm sorry, I'm still echoing. They actually did that. At the grocery store. They put they're like they put the sugar-filled cereal at the top. I've noticed. They want you to buy.
Exactly, because why? Sugar's so addictive, and they know you're going to come back and buy more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Good point. Okay, my next tip is to get them involved. If they are involved in the kitchen and helping you, even it could be something as small as cutting up an apple or peeling an orange. It does not have to be complicated. They're more likely to want to try it because they feel empowered that, they helped prepare this, or it's just fun for them and they like to be involved like that. So get them involved. Mm-hmm. Try not to use dessert as a reward. If you eat all your food, I'm going to give you, that's hard. And I know a lot of people do that, but what it does is it sets their mind up to think that dessert is the best thing ever. Like, that's the one thing that they always want. And we all know how extremely addictive sugar is. So, kind of not trying to set them up to think, oh, that's so good, I want some of it. So not using it as a reward, so to speak. And then my last tip would be, just try to be really patient. It can be frustrating, but think about yourself, and think about sometimes how hard it is to make changes for yourself, whether it's cutting back on sodas and not, drinking them, or even something else like going to the gym or exercising. These, good things can be hard work, but the payoff is so worth it. So just try to be a little bit patient with them. And like Carrie said, offer them a healthier alternative if it's something that they, really just don't like and won't eat at all, so that they can get some whole good nutrition in. So we don't want to overload you guys with tons of information. So we wanted to keep this really short and simple, but those are our top tips on helping your kids that may be picky eaters. And you know what? This might not even just be your kids. Might be your husband, might be your significant other. I'm just saying. So all of these things will work, for anybody, whatever age you are.
Yes.
Next week, we'll be back at the same time at 12:30 on Wednesday right here. And we'll be talking about a common question that we get. I travel when I work. How do I eat healthy on the go? So we're going to be giving you tips around that. We'll keep it short and simple again. And Carrie, did you want to add anything else?
No, I think that's it. I love these type of topics and questions, and so we can keep having one of those just fill out our little question form, the notes on here. Whatever it is, let's talk about it. So hope y'all have a great day.
See you guys next.